so pleased she can be here. As you can see, she's ready and raring to go. Cozy Mysteries is what you write when Ilene is not talking dirty in Yiddish. That's what you're doing. You're doing Cozy Mysteries, and you've been over to Vegas. That's Left Coast Crime.
No, Vegas is the Public Safety Writers Association.
Public Safety Writers Association.
Right. Left Coast Crime wanders around from anything west.
You go all over the place.
So mostly California. Did not go out to Hawaii a couple of years ago.
Oh.
But next year is Vancouver, which will be kind of neat.
Oh, Vancouver. Okay, now you're going international.
I
International.
also actually
Okay.
mentioned my taco on top.
Well, see, I'm so glad she could be here with us tonight. So, Ilene Schneider, thank you for being here.
Happy to be here. As I said earlier, I hadn't even known I was going to be talking here until Kristen first put out the announcement and said that I would be speaking. So wait a minute. So I asked, I know, they say the short-term memory goes first and then you keep your long-term. I have neither. So I'm thinking, okay, when did she ask me? When did I say yes? I should have remembered one of those. If it's not in the calendar on my phone, it doesn't exist. So I was thinking maybe that's why. But no, she just, knowing me, knew I would be more than happy to get up and talk. So I am going to begin with a fairy tale. Once upon a time, a young woman closed herself away in her garret. Well, she was a modern woman, so it wasn't a garret, it was her parents' basement. But she only had her laptop and MFA in creative writing for company. After 6 months on a diet of Jolt and Skittles, and the occasional break to read Game of Thrones and 50 Shades of Grey, she had produced the great American novel, one that would be both a critical and a popular success. She sent a query letter to a prestigious editor who responded that same day, agreeing to represent her. Within 2 days, and it took that long only because it was a weekend, and the agent couldn't get hold of an editor or a publisher to offer a 4-martini lunch until Monday. So the author received, within 2 days, a contract for her next 5 books, 7-figure advance for each. She moved from her parents' basement into a penthouse, upgraded her menu to champagne and caviar, and had nothing to do but cash her royalty checks and write her next book. Now here is where you really have to stretch your suspension of disbelief. She didn't have to do any PR at all. The publisher took care of it. Said it was a fairy tale. Okay, now let's be honest. Even if one of the big 5, and I think it's still 5, New York publishing houses signed you, they're not going to do promotional work for you. The only ones about whom the book marketing departments care are those who don't need the publicity. The J.K. Rowlings and the Stephen Kings, whose latest books are already on the bestseller list before they're written. As for the rest of us, whether we're published by a big 5, by a small press, or by ourselves, we are on our own. So, written a book, found an agent, or not found an agent, been published by a traditional royalty-paying press of any size, or by yourself. What now? If your book is already in print, you're too late. You can play catch-up, but you need to have started 6 months to a year before publication. Let people know what you're working on. Post your covers as soon as they're designed, even if they change. Set up a website. Write blogs both on your own site and on others as a guest blogger. That way, more people get to see what you can do. Brand yourself. I use Rabbi Author on my email, my website, blog, and Facebook. It's my brand. And network. Now, not only electronically, whether on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or Goodreads or LinkedIn, choose your poison, but also in person. You are already on the right track by being here tonight. Try to participate in local book events as a speaker or a vendor, or both, preferably both. Go national. International, if your budget stretches to Canada. As mentioned before, I'll be in Vancouver next spring. And this past spring, past March, I spoke at a synagogue in Tel Aviv. It helped that my cousin was an active member, and I was there for her son's wedding. But it still was very nice. We had joked for a couple of times about how I have to do a book tour in Israel, and she would set it up for me, and as soon as she heard I was coming, she set it up with her synagogue for me. And attend writers' conferences. You can do general ones. I prefer to do the ones within my category of mysteries. When you register for a conference, there's always a box that says, are you a writer? Click yes. Do you want to be on a panel? Yes. And then suggest topics for panels. Get yourself known. Remember the first time I attended a really big writers conference, BoucherCon. It was in Indianapolis that year. I was amazed to walk into the lobby of the hotel and know a dozen people off the bat. And we're talking several thousand people here. So you get yourself known, have them know you. I mean, it felt even better, not just that I recognize these people, but that they recognized me and came over to say hello. Writers are very friendly. Mostly. Carry books in the trunk of your car. Always, always carry business cards. I just got an email from Staples that my new ones are ready. I've gotten tired of having to redo my business cards whenever a new book comes out, or a new cover, as happened just now with these, happened with the Yiddish book when the new edition came out. This time, I put no titles. I just put Rabbi Author. Rabbi Aviva Cohen Mysteries. I listed my 2 nonfiction and my nonfiction blog that I have about Hanukkah, questions about Hanukkah, and my contact information. But I didn't put anything on there that has to be changed. You'll notice my pens, which I have some of here, only have my website. That way, I don't have to change it. A lot cheaper. You also don't have that moment of panic of, do I have enough left? And with business cards, distribute them to total strangers. You see somebody reading a book, sitting next to you in an airplane or wherever, just say, oh, I see you like mysteries. Give me your card. Whenever I'm at Barnes & Noble or Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, all of which are my office, I will overhear a book club meeting. I'll go over, introduce myself, and give everybody a card. I have gotten some appearances, some speaking appearances at these book clubs from, they're local. Now, I have to admit, I know this is going to go against some people's, I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I know some people will totally disagree with me. I'm not a big fan of swag. When I go to a conference and I get a heavy bag full of stuff, the books go right back to the main area where they redistribute them. And unless it's something I really could use, like a microfiber cloth for cleaning my glasses, generally they wind up being left on the desk in the hotel room for the hotel staff to take. I don't find them to be useful. They're often overpriced, and I'm not sure how effective they really are. Others I know will disagree with me on that. But my one exception besides business cards, which, as I said, I think are essential, are these pens. They go like crazy at conferences. I discovered the first time I got them, I put them out, and I went back later and happened to go by the freebie table, and they were gone. I go back to my car unless I'd flown, in which case I didn't have my car with me, and replenish them. Now, I take a big supply with me into the hotel. I put a few out at a time and just replenish them during the day. Whether or not I get any hits on my website from it, I don't know. But they do go. Pens are very popular. These are relatively inexpensive. Now, there are two obvious drawbacks to my suggestions. One, it's expensive to go to conferences. In addition to the conference fee, which may include anywhere from 5 to no meals, so often you have food to add into the equation, there's the cost of the hotel. Even if you live close enough to the venue to be able to commute every day to the conference, it's still a good idea to stay at the hotel because much of the social networking takes place after the sessions, usually around the bar. Don't worry if you don't drink alcohol because soft drinks are acceptable. Well, you could probably buy several 2-liter bottles for what the hotel room charges for one glass. Now, add to all of that transportation costs. If you do live nearby and decide not to stay at the hotel, parking charges are exorbitant. If you don't live nearby but are driving to the hotel, I will drive 2 to 3 hours, whether to North Jersey down to Maryland area, DC area. You have tolls, gas, wear and tear in your car. And then there's flying. I don't have to tell you what that entails. You do it too early, prices are too high. Do it too late, you might not find any seats. And the prices are still too high. So you have to find that magic moment, and I've yet to find it. I've done all the things that websites suggest. Tuesdays, Wednesday at midnight. None of them work. And it's also another expense. Good idea to arrive a day before the conference begins, which means an extra night, hotel fees. Because you don't want to miss any panels, especially if you're on the panel. And sometimes these conferences will start fairly early in the morning with their panels. You don't want to get stuck because of a flight delay or traffic jam. Especially in New Jersey, we never have traffic jams. I didn't know if I was going to get here tonight. So now let's say your book becomes a bestseller. Chances are you will recoup your spending, your expenses. But some things to think of. The larger the advance, the more likely it is to be paid in installments. Once when they sign you, once when you're finished and you submit the manuscript, once when it's actually published. That can take a couple of years. So let's say you have a $75,000 advance, you can get $25,000 a year. Try living on $25,000 a year. And you do not get any royalty checks until your book has earned back the amount of the advance, which means you have to $75,000. You probably have to sell 75,000 books. Now, I received a nice advance, not a huge amount, certainly not enough to live on for, paying my Starbucks bill, but it was a nice advance. It was in 4 figures, not 3, not 2. It was okay. This is my first version. I'm not answering that. It's probably I'm sure it's spam. So it was for the first version of my Yiddish book from a mainstream publisher. It had to earn back the royalty, and it took a couple of years. Finally, did earn back the royalty of the advance, and I even got one pretty good royalty check. I think this was in 3 figures instead of 2, so that to me was a good one. And then all of a sudden I started getting emails from fans who were looking to buy the book on Amazon to give as gifts. And it wasn't there. I mean, the book was listed, but they said, all out coming soon. And it never did. They stopped supporting the book. So I got my rights back. Now this, by the way, was despite having often been #1 on Amazon in its admittedly extremely small niche category. But still, you could call it a bestseller. It was #1 on Amazon. But was this a coincidence? that they suddenly stopped supporting it right after they had to send me a royalty check? I don't think so. I mean, that's why they call it a business. They're looking at the bottom line. They really don't care much about the writers. We're at the bottom of the totem pole here.